big info doc. I think I've probably split these off into 2 videos just so I can make 2 thumbnails. First, to start off, I drew my own little take on the hug and kiss buttons. I'm not too good at these kind of poses, but I just want to capture the joy. Now let's boot those over to the corner and get on looking at this doc. I want to really show off all the cool discoveries I made, so let's get right into it. And now I read the grand words of Demo. Greetings post Rinoburo game born. Oh, that's how you shorten it. I think I'll probably put that in the YouTube title of this game because it doesn't tend to like long names. Hopefully you enjoyed reading 2 gays being very autistic, even if you didn't understand every or even any of the main references. I did miss a lot of them. I got some I had a good old ramble about. I hope you guys in the audience enjoyed that. Playing a game about info dumping and having Bondford interrupt the info dump about entirely different things. Also, I didn't get that they were also autistic because I didn't even register that as an unusual way to have a conversation because I'm just like this all the time. I probably should have clued in at some point. Ultimately, despite all the game self-claims in many places, I'm happy with what this game is, and as of right now I have no plans to return to it. But originally, back when I had the full 2 weeks of time, my sprite had... This was only made in 2 weeks! I couldn't make that many sprites in 2 weeks alone. Today I've been doing art. It took me almost the entire day to finish just one Dragon Quest DS style sprite edit of one of the NPCs from Dragon Quest Monsters Joker, because again this game inspired me to want to go back and start making more fan games. But yeah, seriously, making that big of a size of sprites, no wonder we didn't have a shading. I couldn't have done that in this time, let alone make the entire rest of the game, let alone make the environment and everything. So many of the games we've played in this marathon have been made in really ridiculous amounts of time, and I'm equally as impressed and also oh my god, these people must have been on so much crunch. I hope against hope that everyone who's doing it had a good environment with who they were working for, but unfortunately I have to go in here. When I had the full 2 weeks of time, my sprite hadn't vanished on me, there was much more planned. Yeah. So I guess we're going to have more knowledge here about what happened with, I don't know if it were people ditching the game or if they vanished for real life reasons or something, but that's why Demo had to take over a lot of parts of the game making that they weren't originally planned to. I figured diving into that would be fun, so I added some supplementary info about various other things. First off, important note in case you missed it, Baron-san's typos are all intentional. I am hoping I made it obvious enough in the Who is Baron section, but in case I didn't or you didn't find it, now you know. Thanks for that, I very almost didn't find it. It was literally the last thing I saw in the whole Let's Play. I would recommend just move it one place up. The original plan. The aim of the game is to find things for an Oscator and info dump about. He can info dump about anything in the store naturally. We can also bring him items from other places and get circuit. Okay, confirmed. The item menu is not a glitch, it's a leftover from the original plan. Any item can produce an info dump thanks to Rinoboro's ability to know the name and purpose of any object. You can find simple items in different maps, talk to characters to borrow items from them, and combine items to make new ones. Oh, so there's going to be more characters. Maybe that's why there was that one character, Baronco, in the corner who had one line of dialogue. Would it be there would be multiple characters the friends, all the ones you were talking about, Sakuya and Marisa, and if there were multiple Reimus or if it was just different spellings of Reimu, I don't know. But I do think that's a good idea. If you had to tone the scope of the game down because of what happened, it was a good idea to focus on just the main couple and their bond, and then still have all these references to the characters that still make them feel like part of the game. Really well handled. Item trading, information sharing are considered as an additional options but have been put aside for time constraints. Heavy influence from Iron of Yin and Yang, especially in the area layouts. This is Baron-san's story after all. Okay, so that's the elements that came from his side, was the design of the environments. I didn't really have much of a sense of that because I didn't know what the environments look like in either game. And now we have the concept art section for the characters. Yeah! So confirmed, everyone was wearing outfits based on flags. Oh, that's a bi flag, not the pan flag. I don't know why I was getting the pan flag, there's no yellow on it. So I'm assuming these are from the video series and the comic. Oh, so his colour scheme is inconsistent then. That's a very, very lighter skin tone. And also these fuller art of the characters, that's some Demo's usual style that they use for talk sprites in games. So was this game actually planned to have talking portraits and stuff? I would assume that maybe that's what Demo was hired for at the start of the game. As is generally tend to do in projects, either that or fully illustrated drawn environments rather than sprites, which they're really, really good at. So I guess when the game ended up being rushed, they didn't have time to finish the talk sprites they were originally going to do, because they had to put all the work into finishing everybody else's stuff. That's a shame, because this is the best and coolest piece of art in the game. I always really, really adore Demo's style, and how much detail they put into the hair floofs. And how good they are with line weights and coloured outlines. Different body type, different face types. I am so bad at drawing, unique noses. Anyway, let's look at the info for him. Baron-san's appearance is mostly based on his depiction in the comic. Okay, so that's the bottom one then. with a longer hair and darker skin. One of my main points of contention was which eye colour to pick. As you can see, he has a lot of them, and none of them are the red he's depicted in, with most art related to the original game. I ended up picking the silver because it fits well with Rinosuke's gold. I personally prefer the look of how the red goes well with skin tone, but I don't know if it would look as good with a darker brown. But that together with white hair instead of silver hair, it does kind of remind me of like, I don't know, like a little cake with like a cherry on top, and that's kind of cute. But I do think that the mostly grey colour scheme does work better with the bi-flag outfit. That one wouldn't look nearly as well if it wasn't for his outfit like also matching his cakey head. Baron-san's outfit in the game is fairly simple and Beach Bro adjacent. I was definitely getting that vibe for him. He's just like a powerful himbo. The top felt plain without a graphic on it though, so I slapped the for £14 in symbol on it. Yeah, I got that one right! For full anachronism. See, I don't even have a perspective of what's anachronistic or not for any of these series because I don't know any of them. Let's just assume that Beach Bro shirts also fell from like the technology portals. They count as a technology, okay? And Rinosuke, yay! Oh, I really love like the screen toning effect of the shirt there. I love how it's like a printed on texture, but it also feels like it's been moved like how it would go in like the folds of the shirt and stuff. And so happily got that particular pose of like crossing one arm on the chin is one I always struggle with in my own art. I really like how you can make a hairstyle so simple as like small circular head still look really fluffy and lovely. There's the exact art I was talking about. See, I'm confused about that because I thought that was supposed to be Rinosuke's hair was like kind of like a blondish colour. I guess maybe it's just like the outlines are very yellow. Or maybe he's another character who changed between different depictions and it's like we don't have a reference picture of that up here too. But what is up with the post box? Anyway, in conclusion, I don't think his original outfit suits his personality in like any way or like any logical sense or really implies anything of anything anywhere. I don't know if that's because like the original character he was based on had a different personality. I don't know what personality corresponds to mailbox. But this one, as funny and goofy as it is, really suits Rinosuke's personality as portrayed in the game. Like how it's mostly serious, like it's got a colour scheme that really matches him, but then like the hilarious, adorable goofiness of having a Hawaiian print shirt on top and how he's taking it so seriously and he's just rocking it. Both 100% grumpy and 100% cute. And there is no contradiction in these halves. They work together like a finely geared box of like fairy computer magic, all together with the express purpose of loving his boyfriend. Rinosuke's usual outfits cover the vast majority of his body, and I don't think that would change even if he were to wear a summer fun outfit. I mean, that's really good how it fits in his personality. I didn't even notice that at first because, again, I didn't think about how unusual that would be because I also just tend to cover a lot of my body and like wear undershirts under like short sleeved stuff. I've been like training myself over the last few years to finally like get up the courage to actually wear short sleeve shirts in the summer because I get really self-conscious about my upper arms because I don't even know what it's called, if there's any like name for this condition or anything, but on my mother's side of the family we tend to get acne on our shoulders and back, and I don't know why, but it's a really embarrassing place to have acne, so I get weirdly self-conscious about it. It's also why I don't often go to like swimming or anything. I still don't know how to swim even though I'm like in my 30s now. I've been trying to work on the courage to go to the Trans Aid Cymru Big Splash meetup. Adults can learn how to swim, and it's also specifically based around like trans and LGBT people who would have like body issues making them like extra nervous to like go to like a beginner swimming lesson. And for me there is definitely that aspect, but it's also mostly just really sporty shoulders, and it's embarrassing that bothers me more than like my chest. A little extra note. So about Rinosuke still covering up all his skin, this is a direct dig at the Touhou Lost Word depiction of Rinosuke in a Hawaiian shirt. I appreciate the male fan service, but he would not wear it like that. I can't imagine Rinosuke with like his personality in this ever wearing like a really skimpy thing. Like not only just because like now we know that Demo's head can of him as ace, like even if he wasn't asexual, he just feels like a guy who like would be like reserved and elegant in like a non-specific way. I really can't imagine what on earth this. I'm gonna look at what the fuck does that look like. I can't imagine him in any kind of fan service. Who the fuck is that? Does he just have like a wildly different personality in canon? That's a funny and cute outfit, but that doesn't. I don't get where that came from. I don't get where that's going. I don't get what that is, Cotton Eye Jim. He's still got the fucking mailbox. He's shilling for Coca-Cola. He has vagina bones. Yeah, I cannot imagine this man in fan service, let alone this specific fan service. The goofy glasses, like, I know he's grumpy but also cute, but that's just, like, that's not even a contrast. That's just, like, I would imagine Baront wearing those. I have only known these guys for the length of one game, and I already agree with you. He would not do that. So I put his usual undershirt under his Hawaiian shirt, and I had him wear socks and sandals, despite, or perhaps because of, the general universal disdain people seem to have for that combination. I, again, didn't even notice that as unusual. Never really got the joke about why it's a bad thing. Personally, I think it would make a lot of sense to wear socks at the beach, because if you were like, you didn't want to get sand in your toes. But then again, does sand get stuck in your socks? But then I forgot it's joker because I'm a bad Rinosuke fan. Joking tone. Okay, so that is how you indicate, tone indicators at the end of a sentence. So I will reply with a slight suggestion. I don't know if that's something specific to a Touhou fandom, is that how you do it? But in most of the internet I know, people tend to do tone indicators with a /. So I'm not saying don't do it, but maybe have like a little tutorial. And it could be another opportunity for like an in-character funny tutorial of Rinosuke and Baront talking about it. Like, you could frame it as like in-universe as like a cultural difference between like Touhou and Final Fantasy World. But I would expect he would be doing the / ones, because that's the way you type things in like link shells. And yay, Baronco, I get to learn about who this is. I really want to know more about their child. I'm glad even if like all the other characters got cut, we at least just had them in the corner. But still, I'm really curious to hear about what the dialogue was going to be. Oh, and yes, confirmed non-binary. But these designs seem to be like a very femme character, so I guess this is maybe like a headcanon or a reinterpretation. Or was the character always envy and just had like a different aesthetic? Depending on interpretation, Baronco is either a fusion of Baront, Stan, and Tenchi, or their kid, which is the interpretation used. Oh, so is Baronco just Baront's son and not Rinosuke's son? And who is Tenchi? I'm assuming Tenchi is probably a character from like the source video that they came from. I didn't get that idea. I just assumed like because it's a shipping game and because they never mentioned Tenchi at all in the game, I don't remember that coming up. So I'm assuming maybe if Baronco had more dialogue it would like reference Tenchi, whoever that is. Both interpretations look the same, a recolored Tenchi. Okay, so is that why the character looked more feminine? Did Baront marry a woman in the original comic? So I guess that's why he's bisexual in this. But because of the events that lead up to this game, I wanted Baronco to look completely different. The implication would be that they used to look like their mother, but decided to change what they are now. Whether this is simply a transient state or their preferred look is left unsure. So I guess they're kind of like a magical doppelganger child, and they can shapeshift at will. That's cool. In the games it is now, they just lay on Rinosuke's bed and say a line, but originally you'd be able to talk to them about various things like any other character, and maybe they'd even have a unique side quest. I'm really interested in what that is, and I would love to hear more info dumping about Baronco on Discord if you see this demo. I'm really curious, like, they're really cool, and I really, really like them. Have they actually been adopted by, like, Baront and Rinosuke together as a couple? Is this like a romance of, like, someone separated from their ex and, like, still has a child, and then, like, were adopted like a new stepdad? I really want to know even more. Like, the game is full of info dumping. I want even more info dumping. I'm so curious. And this is a person called Reimu. I have no idea who they are, but they're apparently a lesbian. Again, no clue of no context. I don't know if that's canon to Touhou or just part of his headcanon or part of a different game in this game series. Seems like in this appearance they would be wearing a special flowery kimono. And again, I really, really like the use of like screening patterns and how well it works in the cartoony art style. Also, those hair loopies are really complex and must have been really hard to draw. Though it never appeared in the game, I made concept art for a few other key players. Arguably, Reimu is the most appropriately dressed anyone for a summer party in all era Japan, wearing a yukata and putting her hair in a slightly different style. That was something that was vaguely referenced in one of the talks. There's a party that everyone was going to, the Pride Party. So I guess maybe in the early version of the game there would have been a bigger focus on the plot, and maybe you'd go around and you'd hear everyone talking about it. Maybe that's the reason why you'd be gathering all these characters. Yeah, despite this game being set after Touhou 16 and being made after Touhou 18, Reimu's appearance in this game is Touhou 19. That doesn't mean anything, I just thought that was neat. That means even less than nothing to me as a Bonfoot who didn't even know that there were that many Touhous to begin with. No wonder it has so many fans if it's such a long-ass series. That's like reaching Kingdom Hearts levels of ridiculous. Even though technically there's only 3 Kingdom Hearts, there's so many spin-offs and all of them are like equally as plot important as the main games. Also, the bracelet Reimu is wearing is a friendship bracelet representing Marisa. Marisa has a matching one representing Reimu. Okay, so is Reimu like a similar age to like Marisa? Because Marisa is the one who was young when Rinosuke was still old and he was like a mentor figure or a father figure? I'm trying to piece together what we've got here. Marisa, this is Marisa! I gotta say, that's not what I expected it to look like. For some reason, I was imagining that Marisa would be like black haired, because all I know is that one of the popular Touhou memes had some black hair. It might have been the last one, Rainbow. And this lady is blonde. I know someone blonde was on the one that became the Ronald McDonald. But I don't know if this is the same person. I think she was wearing red. Anyway, trans flag! Gotta say, I love this outfit more than the original one. I'm sorry, Canon Touhou. Also, I'm not sure if that's meant to be like a Japanese magical star or like a Jewish symbol. Trans Jewish Misa Kirasame is such a based idea. I really love the angle on the hat and the little floofy woof, and those little lines that you do on the crease of a wizard hat. I've been wondering how you do that in like a cartoony art style for ages. I just store this as reference material. I also really like the aesthetic of like, it's not like a waistcoat, it's like a sleeveless, really long coat. One of my OCs when I was a little kid, my first like Pokemon trainer OC was called, I think, Tanka, because it was just like, we learned about different types of poetry in school that day, and I thought that's a really cool sounding word. It sounds like a sci-fi Pokemon trainer somehow, so I made a sci-fi Pokemon trainer somehow. She had like a big brown, like, I don't know, was a detective coat. She wasn't a detective, I just thought they looked cool, and it had the sleeves all ripped off, and then her hair was all blue. Ironically, I didn't even know I wanted to have blue hair when I grew up at the time, but then she had like one of those anime hair antennae, but it was like actually like a robot claw arm that was hidden under the hair and it would zoom out. Magic amnesia, she didn't know she was half cyborg robot thing. And she had a Gardevoir, but it was a male Gardevoir because for some reason me as a child was strangely obsessed with like gender androgynous Pokemon. I wonder where that might have came from. I say having clawed myself out of the closet at last. But yeah, it's giving me good nostalgic memories. Oh, there's a little yin-yang bracelet, that's cute. And that's kind of similar colours to the one before, so they're best friends. I didn't even notice that Rainbow also has a bracelet on there, it's like a little star. So I guess that's the symbol that matches Marisa. I'm not sure why, because I don't see any stars on her canon outfit, there's a moon instead. Demo gave me more insight on this. Marisa is associated with stars because her Danmaku patterns in battle are shaped like stars. And Danmaku means the magic bullets. Demo agrees that they wish she had more patterns in her actual outfits. Also, what's the name of those slip-on shoes? Is that called Uggs? I don't remember, but I think they're cute and I like them. And then Demo's notes. I don't remember any of the decisions I made that concluded in this outfit. Marisa trans. Relatable, great. I don't know any choices I went into this except it looks really cool, and you don't really need a deeper reason than that. People dunk on the Touhou 15 design a lot, but it's what I referenced in the visual novel, and it's what I reference here. Is the visual novel the incident that... I want to know what the incident game was. I'm really intrigued in the incident. Mysterious lore from Demo. The visual novel is the one game of mine banished to the void forever. One day it will be remade as an actual game. It didn't suit the visual novel format, you just gotta trust me on this. So I'm going to respect Demo's privacy and not pry more into that. But good luck, buddy. I hope the remake goes well. I could have gone with a Touhou 16 design. Oh, so do the characters have different designs in every game? And is that why the hair colour changed on Rinosuke? That would make sense why there's so many Touhous. I could have gone with the Touhou 16 design, but I hate the colour of her hair in that game. So yeah, I guess it really is like Kingdom Hearts where everyone gets a crazy new outfit every time. But there's less plaid and zippers and belts and buckles and more ribbons everywhere. Her skin is supposed to be tan, kind of like a farmer's, with a wide-brimmed hat blocking the sun. Oh, I didn't even notice that was a gradient pattern on her skin. I totally missed that on first glance. That's a cool detail. So it's like the opposite of a farmer's tan, a witch's hat tan. And then Moku, I don't know what that flag actually is. I'm not familiar with that. Unfortunately, despite being blessed with the LGBT, I don't have a knowledge of every other type of LGBT that exists. Yet! It took me a long time to even find out that, like, the specific type of non-binary I am, agender, actually has its own separate flag. Agender is just mostly green. So I went with the Arrow Ace flag for this little fun fan art of, like, what if I joined the game? What if I joined the party? I know it's a little self-indulgent, but I just want to show how much this game is going to, like, live in my heart forever. So I'll just boop that over in the corner while we carry on talking. But these colours here look really cool, and especially cool in this outfit. I'm going to say up ahead, I'm not sure what pronouns to use for this Moku, because I know the Moku that's in Demo's system is actually a trans man, but apparently the original Moko from the games is a girl and just a girl who dresses very androgynous. I don't know if it's a common headcanon or not, but definitely I've seen pictures of a trans Moku Demo wearing this particular outfit. I actually drew fan art for him once. My art style doesn't adapt well to Touhou. But yeah, these colours look so fucking good together in an outfit. I really love that ribbon with like the sun pattern on top. It just goes so perfect. And how the hair is so fucking long and swirls like an entire like crescent moon. And a combo of like baggy trousers and then like this belt which is also like a sash for like skirts and stuff. And just classic sassy Moku expression. Moku's outfit is very Moku as in it's something our Alter Moku would wear. Yeah, that is just the vibe I so totally get. Like maximum cool fashion matched with like sassy swear word shirt. Alter Moku gives me the vibes of like classical temple equivalent of Ryuji from Persona. And I mean that as the biggest compliment. And that's the story behind the outfit canonically. Against Sokyo Moku asks Otherworld Moku for an outfit and he gives her this. Oh, so this is like canon Moku wearing the outfit from trans Moku. Also, does that mean the other world is the same as the inner world? Like the real world actual term for like the inner space of like alters in a system? Is this entire thing like an AU based on the system? Because that's so awesome. That's such a cool way to bring like your own real life into your hobbies, into like this fandom, into this game jam, referencing everything including your own brain, and that is rad. Okay, what is Solarian? Is Solarian a type of gender or sexuality, or is it a flag for like a fictional country in a game? Because Solarian sounds like a country name. Oh, I never would have guessed that from the name. Apparently it's like being non-binary, but it's like a less like loaded and negatively used equivalent of like male-aligned non-binary or like mask-presenting non-binary. I guess it's like similar but distinct from Demi-Boy. And it's like an umbrella term for all those different kinds of things. But the reason it's called Solarian is apparently like a metaphor about like man is the sun, woman is the moon. So like Lunarian is the equivalent for like your non-binary but female leaning. And Stellarian is like neutral. So I guess that as an agender person I would be Stellarian, or does it mean a more specific thing? Yes, it says specifically, unlike agender which is a complete lack of any feeling of gender, that's what I've got. I don't feel like I'm defined anywhere on a spectrum. This is more like in between, like unaligned, neutral aligned, like you have an identity related to manhood and womanhood, but you're not either of them. I guess the closest I can relate to one I know is like genderqueer, where it's like, you know, you're not a man or a woman, but you don't really fit into any of the other categories. It is really interesting to think about how there is just so much like variety within non-binary. Like people tend to think like non-binary means a third gender. But it's not, it's an umbrella term for like, if you don't feel like a man or a woman. And people have so many like unique experiences of what it feels like. But there's so many different subcategories. Like, I feel like both. I feel like neither. I feel like a third separate thing. I feel like it fluctuates from day to day. I feel like I'm leaning more towards one end or the other. And heck, people who don't even agree on the name for the same thing. Like, I generally had never heard of the Galactic Alignment System, which is a really cool idea, honestly. It seems like it's just like better and more cool fantasy names for like identities we do already have, but like with different flags. I hope that's not insensitive of me, like I'm making a mistake. I might be mixing these up, but I don't know, if someone approached me and said like, hey, you can rename a gender to something cool like void gender, I'd be like, fuck yeah. So I totally understand the sentiment. I'm not one of those people who crushes down like no one's allowed neo-pronouns or like unusual names for their genders, because I'm just like, if it was more socially acceptable, I would just instantly say yes. Like, honestly, if I could walk up to like a bus or a train and be like, I've renamed this like the Metal Worm, Farrier of the Souls, I would just be like, fuck yeah. Sometimes we do have to acknowledge that the world doesn't have enough whimsy in its names. It's only the fact that it's not common that makes everyone think like, oh, it's somehow bad. So anyway, sorry for the tangent there. That was really cool. And now we're done with the character sections and, locations! Karindo is the only location present in the games. Is that the name of, like, Rinosuke's house, shop, place? But there are several other locations concepted. Almost all of them are based on the locations depicted in Iron of Yin and Yang game. Okay, so was it a game, not a video? Was it like a video series of playing another fan game? Or was the fan game made based on the video or based on the comic based on the video? So anyway, there's going to be comparison screenshots of that and the original. Oh, that definitely looks like RPG Maker VXAs. That's like default assets. With like that taller sprite in it. I don't think it's a Mac edit. I think it might be a different one. Demo's changes definitely made the shrine look way more interesting. You can still recognise it's definitely meant to be a shrine if you like squint, but it's obvious it was limited by, well, what RPG Maker can do. That is just default building. But I'm surprised RPG Maker has like an actual shrine bell sprite. That's not in Demo's version, instead as a door. I guess it's because it would be enterable in this. Also, I didn't even realise the thing on the original was supposed to be a grate in the floor. It looks like just a park bench. They've really had to work with what they had. I was going to say I'm not sure why it changed between being snow and having full trees, but then obviously just this game is taking place at a different time compared to the original source material. It would make sense if we're doing a pride party if that would be taking place in, I guess, like, I think it's June in America, but I don't know what time Japan celebrates pride. And there we go, Hakurei Shrine exterior. This map would update through the game based on how many items and conversations you've had to become more and more set up for the party. So yeah, I was right, the party was going to be like a unifying gameplay goal. I do think it definitely would have helped to make the game like less niche and more appealing to like every player. So it's good to know that Demo did have that in mind. But for people like me, honestly, it's like the journey is more fun than the actual ending. I do feel like that a lot when I'm playing a lot of RPGs. Not that there aren't ones which do have an amazing ending. Like Cassette Beasts has like one of the best ending fight climaxes I've ever seen in any Mon game. But I'm definitely totally fine with wandering around getting lovely flavor text along the way. I mean, I did enjoy In Stars and Time. That is unfortunately another game where I would say, like, to get a little bit out of the niche appeal, there are ways you could have trimmed down the pacing. But it's less of a problem of not having a clear beginning and end goal, and more of just, oh no, the middle has become really long because we have so much cool dialogue. Hakurei Shrine interior, and the layout is different to accommodate Baron-san and Baronko also living there. Also, is this then where everybody lives? Because I totally got the impression everyone just lived inside that, like, shop storage building place. I do think it looks a lot more cozy having the beds everywhere and, like, the personalised little character icons. I wonder which one is which, though, because all I can think is the one on the far right has to be Baron's, but who has, like, tiger print? And I guess Raimi would be, like, the red with the yin-yang. So is Baronko associated with the tiger print? I guess does that mean that Baron isn't living with Renosuke? I also really love a little table and all the cushions around it. That's just a really pleasant arrangement. I really want to sit on those. It looks so cozy through the screen. No clock on the wall because that's an anachronism, but I've never figured out what would be there instead. Isn't the game all about anachronisms? Like, that's the impression I got. There was a mix-up of all different worlds. Also, what seems to be like a fire pit instead of the heated table. I suppose maybe that's what goes underneath a katatsu. Reimu's bed and candle is a reference to a shine's depiction in Yane. I think that's an acronym for one of the other games. Not sure if it's by Demo themselves or one of their friends made it. I'm sure I've heard them talking about that before. I imagine the door at the back leads to a kitchen. It's always cool to think about headcanons of like how these things would work as a real environment. Human Village. This place changes every time Baron-san visits it in Iron of Yin and Yang, so I tried to mishmash all those versions together for my map. Oh, is that like a running joke in the series? Is like it always changes between scenes, there's no explanation for it? Or is it like, does the story take place over a long period of time and like the human village changes, but all these like immortal yokai people stay the same age? Because either of those are really interesting ideas. I saw the typical RPG shops out for market stalls, so that's what's more realistically in the village. Oh, I did notice the little icons on the top, that's really cute. Is that a bomb shop or is that meant to be a potion? And this one sells only strawberry. I'd imagine you go to that one, it's got everything from the previous 3 shops, like they sharpen the strawberry into a sword. And they made the cafe more obviously a cafe. See, that's really funny with the limitations because they only have a sign saying in. Oh, and the staff only thing, I guess that's what that sign in front of it's supposed to be. They couldn't really just make a door saying the sign on it. That's actually really funny. I do really appreciate that the lily pads were changed to like be rotating in circles like a clock. And they got a trash bin at the exit. And that one path fading off because I guess people don't go to the staff-only place very often. I really love the little details you put in like that, Demo. And see, this is what I mean about anachronisms being everywhere. Those are really well-drawn chibi computers. I wonder who all the references are here. Oh, even got a little upside-down writing. I wonder if that's like a placeholder for those to be drawn later on. Or if it's just like, here's like actual storage bins where you open up and there's stuff inside. Gotta say also the chairs are like way better drawn with like the angles and everything than they are. Like people are sitting on little footstools. They really have to work on the most basic tile set available. Human Village Cafe. Baron-san mentions this place briefly at one point. Pictures on the wall are a reference to the MelinPie devs, of which the Spriter is one. Nowadays I think I'd replace them with references to other pals, like maybe Snappy could be in one. Oh, a turtle in the other. Oh, thank you, Demo, I'm really honoured. It would be like an eternal lifetime accomplishment to be a reference in your games. That's really nice to think of too, like, across all the different projects you made, you have like this archive of like who you were friends with at the time when you made each one. I hope all the buddies you make references to are like as super appreciative as you deserve. Because it's a really sweet idea. Moku's house. Oh, this looks like the most well-finished and really polished one of all. I love that glowing effect on the crystal and like how good the fade out is on the door shadow. And weirdly complex lettuce and carrots. Doing a forest entirely of bamboo must be so difficult. Like, that's not even just copy and paste, they're all at different angles. And that's Moku's house. This is the only map design for the game that isn't based on a map from Aoye. It's the acronym for the game Baront came from. It's actually loosely based on TPDP. I don't know what TPDP is, but it reminds me of that meme. The only Touhou fan game I know of that might be is like Touhou Puppet Play, but that would be TPP. Part of the story in the first game and the main trilogy, more on that in the next. Is that the one where the incident happened? Is that one the gem gates appeared right in front of Moku's door, leading to her accidentally going into the other world? Oh, so this is like the origin of how this new world setup happened. As you can see, it's still here, and I even had preliminary plans that Baront-san be able to go to the other world and find items there too. Oh, so that's like a really huge and massive scope for this fan game idea. So you could go to like the canon world of Touhou and the world of the other fan games combined. I guess it's like Johto and Kanto in Pokemon. Oh, because of that, Moku has to enter her house through the window. And a sign next to it instructs others to do the same. Oh, is it supposed to like in universe it says something else rather than what it says? Because yeah, it just says level 142. Oh, okay, yeah, the text on the sign is a reference to our Alter Moku and the Zard streams he did. I watched those! Pokemon Zard, it was so funny. I don't think I remember seeing the stream that this particular joke came from. I'm sure it's probably one of the glitch Pokemon that went over level 100. Wasn't it something like if they gained one more level, it reset back to 99 or something? Never managed to see the entire series, but I remember really enjoying all the ones I tuned in for. Unfortunately, I was usually way too shy to actually comment. I would just like watch in the background because obviously going into your friend's stream and seeing like all their massive amount of friends from like the Touhou fandom, I just felt too nervous to talk to any of the others because like obviously I know Demo too, but I know Demo from an entirely different place and I don't know the main subject everyone else is talking about. And even though it was a Pokemon stream, everyone there like knew about this other game and I'm like, I only know how to talk about Pokemon. Oh no! I hope if it ever happens again in the future, I'll try harder to get over my social anxiety. I really want to support your streams. I want to support your everything. I'm probably going to be like almost 3 hours in this bloody video of supporting your everything. I'm so hyped to just have a chance to advertise your stuff. Oh, and about a story going on in the background, yes! What is the law? I really want to hear about an incident. Like, who was setting people up in this like fixed villain and hero thing? All of my games fit into a general timeline of events I've yet to get around to properly showing off. I try to cover only the relevant stuff here, but rambling on Discord is always a food option. Yes! Demo, after you finish watching this, if there's anything I've said that made you interested or inspired you to say about another thing, or is anything you remembered you missed out, I would always love to hear you ramble even more about this. You've got me really, really, really interested from this wonderful game. And you need to hyper-focus and info dump on ramble more. This is why this game is so much fun, because I get to hear that from you. You're always so shy and you're like, oh, I'm talking too much. It's like, you talk barely anything compared to me. I'm the one who monopolizes the conversation in the Discord way too much. You have listened to me talk about like 10 entire miles of Snappy, ranging from here into the distance, and you deserve to have your moment too. By our powers together, we will combine them and like make a staircase to the sun. Anyway, a while ago, mysterious gem gates started popping up in Gensokyo, linking to a mysterious void plane quickly dubbed the Otherworld 2. Oh, that's like a note. Let's scroll down. Where's the note? The Otherworld is very plainly based on my system. Okay, that's confirmed. I was guessing that. I love a good way to like gush about your real life experiences and relate them into a game. Obviously for me it's a lot less literal, like I just like, here metaphorically I'm exploring some similar anxiety I have through the method of like Dr. Snap's Big Snappy Day. Made like a metaphorical monster to represent my anxiety, rather than just like, hey, my actual alter from my DID is now a cool superhero in the magic yokai people world and is dating Baront and Hooray. Honestly, we should all aspire to be as awesome as Demo. The first game in the main trilogy doesn't hold much direct relevance to the plot of Rinoburo Sim, but in it various Touhou characters enter the otherworld to try and figure out the situation, or try to cause chaos. I like that idea of everyone having various different motivations. So I guess it's like both villains and heroes from the original story, and many end up meeting alternate versions of themselves as well as some other characters. See, I like how also it's a way of, like, you can make, like, a self-indulgent game about your own alter experience while also having appeal to, like, fans who don't have all the context. To them, it would just be like, oh, this is really cool, it's a doppelganger dimension with, like, unusual variation versions of the characters. And you have all the cool appeal of having, that the canon characters interact with these versions. The otherworld is of most relevance to Rinoburo, Sima, Xian, the alternate Rinosuke, and the alternate Moku. Fleur-de-Lis is also mentioned in passing. And Sakuya, and Reimu, and that one I thought sounded really cool, but I can't remember how to pronounce it. There are a lot of characters mentioned. I'm surprised how many I actually did remember. This game is priming me with the knowledges. After being unable to resolve the incident at this time, everyone who gets Sokyo returned home, and rumours started cropping up at the gates were caused by Yukari or Okina, both of whom have powers that would make such a thing possible. Irritated by the unwanted attention and hostilities rumours were drumming up, and feeling rather petty about it, the two of them decided to work together to show people what the incident would really be like if they made it happen, resulting in the events of the second game of the trilogy. Now that's a really interesting idea. So, like, the first game is about some unknown incident happening that nobody knows who caused it, and the second one is like, here's take 2 of the incident, prank version, by the people you, like, unfairly blamed for the first one, and I'm like, fuck you, if I really destroyed the world, I destroy the world in exactly this way. That's both funny and also genuinely interesting and uncommon plot to find for a game. I'd be really intrigued seeing how different, like, the first and second incidents were. And whether exploring that this fake incident would give people clues on figuring out what happened in the real first incident? Would it cause conflict between the characters who caused it? Would it all be able to come back together with apologising to them for what they did? I'm intrigued, I want to play them. And then we have the rules of how it worked. A being from Gensokyo was paired with a being from the otherworld and dropped into an alternate Gensokyo as a protagonist pair. There are some exceptions to this, the alternate Rinosuke being paired up with 2 Koishis is the only relevant one. Okay, so the 2 kids he was guarding were 2 variations of the same person? I didn't get that from the game. When it just said villains versus protagonists, I assumed it was just one character versus one character. That's really unfair. The villain is just one against a team of 2 or 3. But that's really interesting as a concept. Like, you have to pair up, like, the 2 versions of the same character from different worlds. That would just inherently cause so many cool interactions. Or does it not have to always be the same person? Because Rinosuke said he was fighting himself as a hero. The goal of the protagonist pair was to locate and defeat the villain, who was someone from Gensokyo that had been picked by either Yukari or... Okay, so villains are always someone from Gensokyo, and protagonists are someone from the other world who's got slapped together with someone from Gensokyo. I guess it's like a guide and, like, a supportive character, or they work together? Okay, Okina picks generally strong people, but Yukari picked people who would pose a challenge on an interpersonal level. Okay, so that's why it's different depending on people. I guess Yukari had, like, the more malicious picks, and, like, Rinosuke had, like, this secret test of character fighting himself. No Okina picks are relevant to the plot, the villain picks relevant to the plot, and that Rinosuke was picked as the villain for the alternate Rinosuke's protagonist, and Tenchi and Baronko was picked, the Xian and Buron protagonist pair. Oh, so is that how Baronko got into this universe? Did Buron have to beat up Tenchi, who was, like, I guess his wife or girlfriend or partner or friend from the other universe, and do you have to die if you lose it? Like, did he adopt Baronko after Tenchi died? Tenchi is indeed a Touhou character, and Baron's ex-wife in this canon. This isn't canon to the games, because obviously Baron is from a different game, but they seem to be commonly paired up together in other fan works. According to Demo, because they both have the Uchoten heavenly theme, plus Japanese puns in their names. In Rinoburo, Baron and Tenchi have broken up, and isn't mentioned much in the game, because Baron is still sad about the breakup. It was apparently very dramatic and quite nasty, but it's all been left mysterious in Demo's notes here. Also, is Xian related to Tian? Because I've definitely talked to the alter Tian, but I don't think I've met Xian. Or is Xian the Gensokyo equivalent of Tian? Eventually all the protagonist pairs managed to succeed in one way or another, but the incident left both sides with scars, physical and mental. The time period Rinoburo's sim is set in is a month or less out from the events of the second game, so the emotional wounds are fresh and everyone is still reeling. Knowing that everyone has recently gone through hell, including herself, Reimu has elected to throw a party to celebrate everyone's pride and what such a thing means to them. Attendees are heavily encouraged to dress in outfits that represent their pride, and in most cases this refers to wearing pride flag colours. That's an interesting way of making it make sense in universe that they're having a pride parade, rather than just like, this fictional world has the exact same holidays as the real one. But I still would have just taken that from granted as, like, if they have things falling through from the real world all the time, they might have just picked up these holidays. But it's still more fun to imagine that they just have these pride flags and they don't really know what they actually mean, and they just coincidentally happen to, like, destiny gravitate towards the ones that actually fit them. I guess it's like protagonists, like, finding the holy sword, but, like, the holy ace pin. And now we're checking through a list of references to see which ones I got right and wrong. Very first reference is on the title screen of a game. The logo is a reference to the mobile paladin Buront video, but with Rinosuke's sword joining Burant's one in the background. That's cool! That's the best way to symbolize their love. Also, that logo reminds me of the Summon Night series. Subtitle in the back is, the text actually does say something. I wasn't sure if that was just lorem ipsum, because I couldn't manage to make it out with all the little text boxes overlapping it. The purpose of this so-called video game is to produce a glimpse into the life of two particularly motor-mouthed boyfriends as they do whatever they can to keep their conversations going potentially forever, likely to pad out the game time, but also perhaps to give a spectator a reason to look within themselves. I wonder if they find themselves to be complete, or a permanent work in progress like this game seems to be. Also, he even plays this genre anyway. I don't know what this genre is called, and I would like to know because I would like to play a lot more. And it's based on the long subtitles commonly seen in Buront-related media. So it's light novels tend to have really long subtitles? But particularly the chapter subtitles featured in I turned the iron of yin and yang into a comic because I felt like it. Since the ones in the comic get longer and longer with each chapter, I decided to make this one extra long. A random assortment of colourful boxes, a famous type of plush, and the random mushroom is a reference to the Corindo ad I made. I haven't seen that one. I also am not sure what Corindo is. Oh, and the plush was meant to be the Fumo that I mentioned. That exact one is, I saw a demo posting pictures of that one on the Discord and being really, really super happy. It was supposed to be the Rainbow Fumo, but the sprite drew a generic character, so I added the line about it being a custom. That's a cool way of hoping with it. And the mushroom is supposed to be a reference to Super Mario World, but again, it changed. That's always a shame when there's a miscommunication between people working on a game, but that's a funny way of making it work anyway. The soccer ball incident is not the incident, it's a different incident in Touhou Soccer, where Rinosuke apparently had a really bad depiction that Demo hates. Is it another one where he was randomly taking his shirt off? Alas, it was a fitting reference for a game based on an old meme crossover. I guess maybe that was also an old meme crossover, so Demo would feel bad if I didn't include it. I do get that feeling sometimes it's just stuff in the fandom you have to mention even if you don't really like it because other fans would be let down if you didn't. It's tough to balance self-fan service and fan service. And I don't mean Rinosuke with his tits out. The Lotus book I didn't understand was the Touhou written work Curiosities of Lotus Asia, which is canonically written by Rinosuke himself. Is that an official light novel of a series, but it's written as if the character made it? The transition from a book to loose papers is representative of the stories released as a hardcover for the first 27 chapters, but uncompiled magazine stories for the next 10 and counting. Oh, interesting. I guess it's Black Butler flipped between Shonen Sunday and a bunch of other magazines? That's the closest manga that came to mind. I'm not really a fan of that one. The turtle plush is indeed a reference to Turtlehead. But the mini doll plush is also a reference to Turtlehead, and it's the character Mason. Koenig Shield is indeed an equipment from Final Fantasy XI, and it's the closest to the one that Buront is drawn wearing in the original comic. Kaiser Shield is also real, but doesn't have a picture of what that one looks like. Yeah, I guess the job class is correctly in this one. Oh, and Buront's foolproof strategy for playing Tokaido is actually Demo's foolproof strategy for playing Tokaido. They have never lost a game, and as soon as they told someone else for strategy, they also won every game. I'm really intrigued what the strategy is, and also what Tokaido is, and I want to play Tokaido. AO of the items was the only genuine typo in the game, oh my god! I'm actually surprised that he was saying Buront was supposed to make typos all the time. I only noticed 2 typos, was I missing a bunch? And the jobs I couldn't figure out. Run is Rune Fencer. I have no idea what it is because I haven't heard of that in any of the other Final Fantasy games, but that sounds really cool. Oh, the one I mistook for D&D, the Rathalos, it's from Monster Hunter. Rathalos is the most famous monster, and Kushala Daura is a dragon that Demo likes. My favourite is his friendly banana. The talk about a favourite calming game was a slightly tenuous reference to the retro game Sane meme, and it was indeed Animal Crossing. Hooray! I had so much fun when we played New Horizons together. From the other children's picture books I didn't show on screen, this one I totally got confused on, the world turtle beating a lagomorph in a race to win the right to carry the earth on its back, is because it's mixing up tortoise and a hare and the Chukwa Hindu myth. This other one is a reference to a little engine that could, and I have never heard of that one. The only train-related children's book I know is Thomas the Tank Engine. And I know in America they changed the Fat Controller's name to Sir Topham Hatt, and I know that because I was a fan of the Japanese band Fake Type, where one of the animated avatars of the 2 singers was called Sir Topham Hatt, and that was a reference to Thomas the Tank Engine. I was like, no that's not, there's no one called that in the show, and I was like, wow, America. To be fair, I have no idea why in Britain the guy is just, hi, my name is I'm the fat guy. But I don't think it's really an insult because he's just like the cool boss of everybody. Fuck the rainbow fish, all my homies hate the rainbow fish. Another one is The Curious Little Witch, or Nugerige Kleine Hexe, is a German fairy tale. This one is Touhou, what I think is a video game. A strong friendship between a surface-stranded Tsuchigomo and a bewitched pig as they team up to try and communicate with an uncaring group of humans who sought them only by profit is Charlotte's Web. That one totally went over my head, even though that's also a story I know. You did a great job disguising these from Rinosuke's misunderstandings. The one from Matilda I also missed, despite that being one of my favourite both books and films, but that's just because it has, like, when you summon out like this, it's kind of a generic plot, and it's more about the journey of, like, how well written and interesting it is. Also, Danny DeVito was the director and the actor playing the evil dad. Random fact. And now we're getting to ones I didn't see during my playthrough. So I wonder if I missed another point to click on the bookcase and I totally skipped over this set. Madeline, Alice in Wonderland, I would have gotten that one. I also got a reference to Goblin Slayer, I just didn't record that on because I don't like Goblin Slayer, so I didn't think that was important enough to record. I totally missed this mention of .hack GU, even though that's one of Nova's favourite games, so I totally watched all her streams about it. Because I just happened to miss the first episode, so I didn't know that the start of the quest was him to find out who put his crush in a coma. The reality-splitting kicks was indeed Dragon Ball Z. I don't remember a cool kick at any point in the series. I don't know if that's something that happened after the point I quit, but that would have been genuinely, it would have mixed it up from just being constantly punch, and then throw an orb. And or knock a man into a mountain over and over and over again. Or maybe through a mountain if we want to spice it up. It was indeed My Hero Academia. Who knows, maybe in the Touhou world they can use magic to erase the character of Mineta and make an actually good manga with the shards left behind. It is genuinely impressive how much one bad character destroyed all interest in what is otherwise a pretty decent story. 14 years ago, when people wanted to know about rockets, is another Touhou written novel called Silent Sinner in Blue. I didn't get the reference here, saying hen's teeth aren't rare because I know Kotaka exists, but the explanation here isn't explaining the part I was confused as. I know the idiom that rare as hen's teeth means that, chickens don't have teeth, but I don't know who Kotaka is. Are they a chicken person? Oh my god, Computers as Shikigami from the Moon is a canon Rinosuke theory. I did not expect Touhou itself to be as funny and cool as Demo's headcanons. Oh, and the body is like the desktop tower thing, and the hands are the keyboard and mouse. That's really funny, just imagining someone with one very tiny hand and one really wide one. This is my spatula arm. Oh, interesting, the FF14 copy pasta was new at the time the game was made. And they've actually made the demo even longer since then. That's the end of all the references and trivia, and also the end of the cheerful part of it. Demo did warn me ahead of time. The final bit in this is going to be quite sad. It's going to be the reasons why the game never got finished. There were some tragic personal circumstances. So I think I'm just going to read this out word by word, and I'll save my commentary for the end of it. I don't want to interrupt this tribute moment. So why the 180 on this not being the finished game? This is an obituary. Obituaries are sad. If being sad is not on the docket for today, feel free to skip this section. This is the last page of the document. As Rinosuke mentioned in his full breaking credits dialogue, this game was meant to have music by MelinPie. At the time, she was busy with finals. My intent was to come back to this game whenever Melin became available to do the music, find a new spriter, and continue from there. Melin was never very confident in the music, but I loved it. Yet Another Imperishable Night is the only game of mine that she's made music for, and it's the only game I considered fully complete at the time of its release. The same tracks I used in Acceptance. So, between her busy school, work life, and a lack of confidence in her music, we never got back around to finish this game. Or any other. After a while, the impact participating in game jams was having on my health couldn't really be ignored, and I stopped joining them. Melin died mid-February last year. Acceptance was my proper memorial to her, a culmination of ideas we'd had together. I returned to the community we enjoyed together to make one final game jam to honour her. But the preservation of this game, exactly as it existed when we were both fanning over Baron-san's story together, with its typo, with its outdated references, is a memorial too. I don't want to change this game at all. I don't ever want to turn it into something she wouldn't recognise. In the future I may make another game set in this frame of time. I may make another game with this general setup of Rinosuke and Baron-san info dumping to one another to keep the conversation going. but this game, this particular info dump sim set with this frame of time in my story's timeline will never be changed. My art is on Melin's headstone. Oof. I did not know that Demo went through this. I didn't know that your friend had passed away at that time. I feel really guilty that I was venting on Discord about being really sick last February. I'm so sorry, but I just want to let you know that you can open up about this like whenever you want. If you want to talk about this more with someone, I'll be here for you. And I feel really honoured that you let me play this game knowing it's so important to you. And I hope this video was able to make you happy and like to revive these happy memories. I hope I didn't like spoil it by like not having the right reactions to stuff. I hope I could just bring you joy showing like me happy fanning out about it. And I know that I've never met Melin, but I know that she was awesome because of just how much love is overflowing from what you're saying here. And I'm really glad she was there for you, like someone who really cares about you, someone who is working together with you, someone who is going through the same confidence issues as you in these game jams, because I honestly do get really, really upset hearing about how many of your game jams failed because different people in the team like quit or argued over things or put too much work on you and stuff. I'm really glad that you had a friend who cared about you so much, and you were both like being respectful of each other and like saying that like this is not good for your health and we need to take a break. And I think she would be honoured as heck to be remembered with such a wonderful game you made together. And this tribute to her was beautiful. I am beaming the biggest hug of hugs to you through the screen. And I'm going to put my absolute heart into editing this video to be the best ever because you deserve it and MelinPie deserves it too. And whatever the future brings with you, if you make more games, if you don't, I want to support you in everything. And I want to always be there for you whenever you need to talk about something like this. Never apologise for talking too much, never apologise for info dumping, for rambling. Like, I just love to hear you talk, and this entire game has been exactly that. You deserve to like take up as much space as other people on the earth, and anyone who tells you that you're anything less is just an absolute shit and does not deserve to be in your game jams. I want to make a future of you moving forward and making even more amazing friends. And so help me God, I need to be louder about how cool you are to make that happen. If anyone watching this video thinks that this game is cool as fuck, you go out there and you see all of Demo's really, really awesome fucking games. And if you want to be their friend, I would be so happy because they deserve the world. They deserve the inner world, the other world, again, Sokyo, and Final Fantasy and everything. I'm sorry this video has been so long, but I just really have to gush about my friend, and I want to make this video like literally the best it can possibly be because you deserve it. And thank you so much for letting me play this. It means so much to me knowing how much this game means to you. And I had an absolutely massively wonderful time. And thank you especially for giving so much bonus information. Like, this is going to be the most detailed, best video in the whole marathon. I'm beaming so many thousands of millions of like massive power super snappy hugs to you through the screen, and I hope you have a wonderful goddamn day. I will fight every force of the universe that gets in your way. Just as our pact was forged in the War of Juice, it has now been rebound by the info dump sword.